Hi, Julia Ridgmont here, and welcome to another episode of Julia Ridgmont Unscripted, the show where I give my readers the inside scoop about my projects and show them the not-so-glamorous life of a writer. And today I'm happy to share with you that I have finished writing An Agent for Amaryllis. And that was a pretty quick turnaround. I wrote it in about 3 weeks, and that's pretty fast for me, but I have been working really hard on it, pretty steadily on it, and so I had to do that because I have another book to write now, and a Lumberjack for Christmas as part of the Spinster Mail Order Brides series. Both of those books are going to release in July, so I had to get on the ball with those, and I still have some work ahead of me. But I am happy to announce that I'm finished with An Agent for Amaryllis, and it's going off to the editor tomorrow. So yay, I get to celebrate just a little bit here. And I'm going to read an excerpt for you today from that story. And in this story, or if you read An Agent for Sarah, you know that Derek, who was set to marry Sarah, got his heart broken, and now he was planning on just going off to his ranch and hiding away up there to let his broken heart mend, but Amy got herself into a little bit of trouble with an outlaw, and her life is being threatened right now. So Derek is finding himself having to host Amy and her family, Chaz Bryant and his wife Jessica. They are going on up to his ranch, and so now this is a scene from breakfast time the next morning. And of course the Bryants are there as a guest, and Amy is a guest, and so is a family named McPherson. So, and they have a teenage daughter. So this scene shows some of the things that are happening with the different guests. They wanted to go and visit a cave, or not a cave, but a mine, an old mine that was abandoned, yet the McPhersons have a different impression about this mine. So you'll see that in the excerpt as well. So let's get started. Derek was noticing how forlorn Amy looked, and so he was trying to cheer her up. He tried a couple of different tactics, and they didn't work. So that's where this scene starts. The McPherson's daughter flashed her pearly whites at Derek. "Yes, Mr. Baldwin. Why, just imagine what we could do with Marietta," Mr. McPherson interrupted. "I'm sure the man has better things to do than listen to us ramble. Can't you see he's trying to woo the little filly there?" Derek's face flamed. Was that what he was doing? Surely not. He'd just been having a little fun with Amy, that was all. Glancing over at her, expecting her to smile at the man's teasing, he was concerned when her face turned the shade of a ripe tomato, and then she stared down at her plate. "Oh, phooey, you and your teasing, Ronald," Mrs. McPherson playfully shoved his shoulder. A scowl from Chaz farther on down the table made the bees in Derek's stomach buzz. Mrs. Bryant didn't look much happier than her husband. Mr. McPherson didn't seem to realize the hornet's nest he'd stirred with his innocent remark, as he continued in the same vein. "Ah, they're just sparking is all. Remember how fun it was to be young and in love? Wish we could go back to those days." "I'm afraid they're gone forever," offering him a benevolent smile, Mrs. McPherson added, "but they'll always hold fond memories for me." "Hear, hear." Mr. McPherson held his mug of coffee up in a mock salute. As Derek listened to them prattle on, his ears rang with the truth of their words. He'd only be young once, might as well not worry about getting himself hitched just yet. Sarah Packard had actually done him a favor by dropping him like a hot potato. He still had lots of living to do before saddling himself with a wife and children. Yes, sirree, and Amy Flanders likely felt the same way. Looking over at Amy, though, he was surprised to see the same somber expression she'd been wearing earlier, marring her pretty face now. Leaning over, he whispered, "Why the long face?" She pushed her plate away, then looked at him and summoned a smile. "No reason." It was a good try, but he'd seen through her facade. "They're just teasing, you know." Her smile widened, turning even more wooden, if that were possible. "I know." She began to rise from her seat. For some reason that Derek didn't understand, he panicked. He didn't want her to go away just yet. "Hey, would you like to see that mine too?" interest sparkling in her eyes, she sat back down and nodded. Yes, could you take me there? We would need a chaperone. With an all-knowing glance, she turned her head toward her sister and brother-in-law. I don't think that will be a problem. He chuckled at her dry wit. Yep, this was one female that could keep a man on his toes. Great, I'll see if I can arrange a horseback ride for all of us, along with a picnic lunch for tomorrow. Sounds like the McPhersons will be heading back into Denver. I'll send Jasper with them to see them off. How far out is the mine? Amy asked. Only about 3 miles to the east. Every acre I own of this ranch lies to the west. Is there any ore in it? Nah, there's nothing left, but there is a lake close by, Egret Lake. One corner of Amy's mouth lifted in a wry grin. Named by the same person who named Egret Creek, I presume. You'd be presuming right. The creek leads to the lake. Maybe we could try our hand at fishing, though it would be early afternoon by the time we get there. But if we caught enough, Mrs. Thornton could cook them up for our supper. That sounds wonderful. All right, then, I'll see to the arrangements today. Thanks to, Mr. Baldwin, she said softly. Call me Derek. Color suffused her cheeks again, this time in a softer and more flattering hue. Derek found it to be quite interesting and endearing. That's supposed to say endearing. Derek, she spoke his name so softly and tentatively he had to lean closer to hear. And you can call me Amy. What would she say if he told her that he'd rather call her Amaryllis? That's a stupid question, he thought. She'd probably slap me in the face. So that's a fun little excerpt there. And I just, I don't know if you could hear, but I'm having a hard time finding a quiet space to record my videos. You probably hear my family in the background. This summertime, and especially with the coronavirus happening and having everyone home, it's been hard for me to find quiet spaces to record my videos. And so I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and record and put up a new video every other week now, rather than weekly, at least until school starts again, and then we'll see what happens after that. But as you know, the first week in the month is a giveaway week. So I will still record a video and put one up for that first week of the month, and that will always be a giveaway. Then the third week, I will read an excerpt from whatever I'm working on, or if I'm not working on anything at the moment, I'll read something from one of my published works already. So I think that will be fun, and let me know how you feel about that format. You can let me know in a comment below. I sure would appreciate that. Another thing to let you know about really quickly is that in An Agent for Sarah, Derek was the second oldest child in his family. Because I wanted to make it more believable that he would be an owner of a ranch, once I figured out his age, I didn't do that in An Agent for Sarah. I really didn't even say how old he was. Once I figured out how old he would have been as the second child, I decided to move him up as the oldest child. So now it would be him as the eldest child, and then Phoebe the second youngest, and then Michael, and on down as it is in An Agent for Sarah. So I just wanted to let you know about that little change. Another quick and fun little fact is that dude ranches were actually not in existence in the 1870s, at least as far as my research indicates. The closest I found one was in the 1880s. So I'm using a little bit of creative license with that too. I hope that readers won't mind, as long as I am honest with them and upfront. This is what I'm doing. I'm kind of adjusting some historical facts to fit my story. So just wanted to show you some of the things that writers have to deal with. You know, these are real life situations that writers have to adapt to. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and like it below if you liked it, or leave a comment for me, and I sure would be excited if you subscribe to my channel as well. And I will see you next time with a fun new giveaway, so look for that in a couple of weeks.